everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I thought today we could go over kind of an interesting topic, something I've seen mentioned before, but something I hadn't really put together. And well, what cards, if you were to switch their class, would just absolutely break Hearthstone? You saw in the intro there, that combination was pretty busted, and I thought we'd go over just 10 cards that I was able to think of that if you were to switch it from one class to another would probably break the game as we know it. And we'll include wild combinations because, well, Hearthstone's been around for a very long time, and basically there's a lot more interesting combinations than wild. So let's go over it. And again, these are what I thought of. There are countless combinations of completely broken combos that I would love to hear from everybody. I'm sure there's some that I can't believe I'm not thinking of, but I'd love to hear it from you guys. So make sure to share yours in the comments below. But again, these are 10 combinations of cards that if you were to switch it from class to class, they would absolutely break Hearthstone. So starting off at number 10, I'm going to start with the Hunter Legendary Professor Slate. Basically makes all of your spells poisonous, and can you imagine this in any class with good AoE and card draw? Like, put this into Warrior. You play it with a Whirlwind, you clear the board. You have like Commanding Shout in a AoE, you can play this and it survives. It would just be ridiculous. The only reason this card for the most part isn't very good is it's a Hunter card, and you probably could go through a lot of Hunter cards on throughout the history of Hearthstone and put it to another class and it would break the game. And there's even one more on this list, but for me, Professor Slate is a card that's like literally never seen play in Standard or Wild for that matter in Hunter. But if you put it in a class with good AoE, say Priest with like Condemn or whatever, or Conviction, I'm not sure which one it's called. There's a Paladin card. I don't feel like looking it up. Regardless, see the screenshot there. Anyways, it would just be busted. The card would be in free AoE on like everything, and you would have to kill it. Ridiculous, and definitely warranted on my list. But again, there's so many combinations. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. At number 9, there's always the complaint. Imagine if Hunter had good card draw. Well, what about Secret Passage? Put Secret Passage into Hunter. How absurdly broken that would be. Imagine just playing a bunch of cheap beasts and burn in Hunter, just like your Arcane Shots, your Wound Praise, your cheap beasts, and play Passage, dump it all, and you got the most aggressive hero power in the game. Your opponent will just die non-stop. But then again, what class wouldn't abuse Secret Passage? Maybe the card's just too good. And don't tell me just because I hate Secret Passage it's absurd. It's just absurd. It's 1 mana draw for. And yes, you give it to Hunter, it would be ridiculous, but again, it'd probably be ridiculous in a lot of other classes and potentially game breaking. At number 8, I have a Druid spell. This one goes way back. It's 9 mana, Tree of Life. You restore all characters to full. The thing is, if you put this into Priest, this could easily be an OTK of like a ridiculous proportions with a card called Embrace the Shadows, basically turning all of your healing into damage. So all you would have to do is play like an armor vendor, get above 30 health, play Embrace the Shadows and Tree of Life, and kill your opponent. Or at the very worst, you would get a tie. You could play it with like a neutral option, like I think Violet Illusionist would make your hero immune. Cards like Palm Reading, you can discount this pretty consistently, do some ridiculous stuff. It'd basically be a 2-card, maybe 3-card OTK. It would be absurd, ridiculous, but again, it's still 9 mana. Tree of Life is still 9 mana. Maybe it wouldn't be too potentially game breaking, but oh man, the highlights would be spectacular. And again, speaking of Hunter cards that could break another class, I'm gonna go with Cloaked Huntress. The 3 mana 3/4 that makes your secrets cost 0. Can you imagine this in Mage? Playing this on 3 with like Explosive Runes, Rigged Fair Game, Ice Block, all these ridiculous cards. You could duplicate this. You already could cheat out secrets for 0 mana. Don't get me wrong with like Cabal Lackey, Kieran Tormage, but just imagine being able to cheat out multiple in one turn, just on turn 2 alone. You thought Secret Mage was good in Wild, now imagine with the Cloaked Huntress. Would it make the cut? I don't even know, but it would be pretty ridiculous and potentially busted. You can even argue if like put it into Rogue as well. You play this in Hanar, you can play Infinite Secrets until your tray is full of secrets. But again, that's a pretty good 5 mana combo. You can't really argue with that. So I'll go Cloaked Huntress for both Rogue and Mage, just for the ridiculous synergies it could have. At number 6, I have a bit of a spicier one. We have a Druid Legendary, Gonk the Rat. After your hero kills and attacks a minion, you get to attack again. And can you imagine this in Rogue with say like Kingsbane and immunity and all of that? You could just completely clear the board and push a bunch of damage. You could do combo stuff with like Faceless Manipulator and just do obscene OTKs, especially when you have Octobot making everything cheap. Can you just imagine a Gonk a Gonk in Rogue. Gonk might actually be the future meta if it was a rogue card, simply for the insane weapon buffs, the fact you can go to immune, and how you could draw a card every time you hit with the new poisons. It would be absolutely spectacular. And while I kind of want to see Mark get a card that adds a random beast to your hand in Rogue and do an OTK with this, I'm challenging Mark to this. It can't be that hard to get this random beast in a Rogue. You got to do it. I'll just play Baron Stablehand and Shadow Step the Gonk. You got this. I believe in you. At number 5, we have 2 class cards lumped together because, well, they're basically the same thing. We have Sorcerer's Apprentice and Radiant Elemental. What if you threw them into Shaman? As you saw with Educated Collins in the intro, it can lead to some spectacular moments with unstable evolution, giving yourself apparently Archmage Antonidas, infinite fireballs, infinite shenanigans. All you need is 1 minion, and you can evolve it up to a 10-drop and do it over and over and over again. It's a pretty busted combination we have seen in dual class arena, and yeah, there's a reason why there's no spell discounts in Shaman. For, well, I mean, this card alone, and it doesn't even get the echo rule. The echo rule is echo cards can't cost 0. Well, Unstable Evolution, despite the fact it's basically an echo card, isn't an echo card. So you could go infinite, do absolutely broken things, and just build a board from like literally nothing for 2 mana. Like one of these cards in a token or multiple tokens would be absolutely ridiculous. At number 4, even though this card has been nerfed in Warlock in Bloodbloom, I've got to say, it would still be absolutely busted in Druid. Imagine this. Imagine this scenario. You play like Innervate, Lightning Bloom, Bloodbloom, Ultimate Infestation on turn 1. That's a pretty good turn. You could Survival of the Fittest on turn 1. Yeah, you're taking 10 damage, but you're probably winning the game. And yeah, you could just cheat out Guardian Animals, all these absurd, different high value spells. The only reason this card at 4 is pretty bad in Warlock is there really isn't that much to cheat out. There was Darkest Hour, which was good, don't get me wrong, but it required other stuff to set up, right? You had tokens on the board and all of that. Whereas Druid, you literally just play the cards to be busted. So I'm going to go with Bloodbloom and Druid. That would still be an insane combination, even at 4 mana, but imagine it was 2. That would be even scarier. Actually, that at 2 in Warlock is scary too. Can we not go back to that? Never revert this card, Blizzard. Just don't do it. Never be tempted to. At number 3, I'm going to go with the Warlock card, Voidcaller. And if you put this into Demon Hunter, I'm pretty sure Big Demon Hunter would be a thing. Imagine being able to cheat out a Pit Commander, an Ancient Voidhound on like turn 3. That might actually make Soul Split one of the best Demon Hard cards ever. You cheat out a big demon and you copy it for 4 mana. It would be ridiculous. Fair, Demon Hunter does have like a 6 mana version of this, but it's 6 mana, horrendously statted. Just imagine 2 mana cheaper, a 3/4. It would be absolutely ridiculous. And maybe we'd have a different type of Demon Hunter deck on ladder today if that was the case, but then again, that would just be absurd and probably shouldn't be a thing. It might be worse than facing aggro, which is actually pretty dead these days in Demon Hunter. Regardless, Voidcaller in Demon Hunter would be pretty ridiculous, as would like Skull the Minari, but I'm gonna go Voidcaller just because it's a little bit cheaper, a little bit more consistent, plus it's like philosophy synergies and all that kind of crazy stuff. It would be pretty ridiculous. And at number 2, and kind of at number 1, I'm gonna split these up into 1. I'm gonna combine them into 1 because they're basically the same thing, and that's just what I'm gonna do. So at number 2 and at number 1, we have Caldora Drake in Priest, or Raza the Unchained in Mage. Why? Because this combination is broken regardless of what class to switch it around. You put Caldora Drake with Raza and Anduin, you have infinite pings, you're gonna win the game once you play this, or you play Raza in Mage, in a Highlander Mage, then play Caldora Drake, and you have infinite pings killing your opponent. These cards should definitely stay apart, but you can get this combination with not too much difficulty. All you have to do is play like a Bone Drake, that little dragon egg that adds a random dragon in your hand, or get a lucky Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and this combination is possible. And we've seen it multiple times on ladder, but imagine you didn't have to go through RNG shenanigans to get it. You just literally have it and win the game. That'd be pretty sick, but honestly, in Wild today, it'd probably be too slow, but I'm putting it as number 1 in number 2 just because of how unbelievably ridiculous that combination would be. And I mean, when you have cards like Lorekeeper, Polka, Talon Forging, I'm pretty sure it would be game breaking. So again, let me know in the comments below what combinations you have that I have completely forgotten about, because I'm sure there are countless. I would love to hear it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.